All right, and we're back. Uh, Evening, greetings. Paul with Soundscapes Media Group, bringing you another exciting episode of Vinyl Authority with our good friend AJ. AJ, good to see you this evening.
Good to see you, Paul, as always.
Here we are again, talking about the merits of vinyl and the lifestyle and beautiful music. It's always a pleasure.
I'm starting to look really forward to these meetings, Paul. I always have felt that way about hanging out with you anyway, but now it's really becoming the clubhouse vibe. I love it. I'm loving it.
Exactly, it really has that familiarity, and you want to bring more people into the group. You know, you want to tell your friends, join the party, join the conversation, and I think that's the beautiful thing about music because it holds us together. You know, it's like the social fabric. It's like glue that somehow, it's like have you heard the new song yet? No. Okay, well let's give it a spin and yeah, there's just something that comes with the vinyl lifestyle that I think has such a strong social component. Uh, uh, Good, proper amount of sort of geeky stuff, but just a super deep archive of wonderful thing, and it's music that is meant to make you feel good. And I think, all in all, that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
it's an easy sell with my friends, when I tell them what we've been doing, they can't wait to see what's going on.
Yes,
So it's fun.
exactly. Tune in next week. All right. Well, of course, the spirit here at Vinyl Authority is that of sharing and sharing beautiful music on vinyl. Um, let's see. You've got an interesting record with you that you showed me before we began tonight. Do you want to bring up?
It's a bit. This is a bit hard to find. This record. It's Neil Diamond's second record, and I am so proud to own this now. I've
sure.
been hunting this for a while. It's easy to find trashed versions of, but this is pretty. It's VG plus. Listen to it today. It sounds
Absolutely
great.
pristine.
Old Bang Records label, pretty awesome from New York.
Dig it.
So and this is 1967, and this is his second album, as I said. And what's great about it is the track listing is it's hit after hit after hit. He hadn't become an album artist yet, so he was just releasing singles, and a lot of these singles back in 1967, before when I'm not totally hip on what the oldest song is here, but I would imagine it started in 66, 65. But some of the songs are Red Wine, Cherry Cherry, I'm a Believer, the Monkees hit,
Wow.
Kylo, Solitary Man, and Thank the Lord for the Nighttime. So all these tracks, this is a compilation album, but it's his legit second LP,
Yeah.
So, and then we were talking about how this guy in 1967 was really holding his own. When you think about what he was writing, who he was writing against, and when you listen to this now, it's very true to who he became. So he really was creating the Neil Diamond legend, at the very beginning with amazing songs. So anyway, I'm all geeked out about this. It's an amazing record, and I'm really happy to grab this. The only one that I need now is his first one. I don't have his first record. But my dad was a huge fan. He worked on a lot of his records back in the 70s, putting the album packaging together.
Right.
And my dad even had a kind of a vibe, like maybe he was, you know, my comment was, did Neil Diamond steal my dad's vibe, or did my dad steal Neil Diamond's vibe?
We may never know.
We may never know. So there.
You know what I like about that is first of all, at that time that this record came out, you didn't really get to make a long playing record until you had 8 to 10 strong singles.
Right.
And that's what that is, right? And the other thing I love about it is that cover is selling.
It's unbelievable.
To every young man and to every young woman, this lifestyle.
It's so fantastic.
Beautiful.
Who's the lady? Well, no, we don't know. I tried looking up if we could find out who it is, and I can't find it.
Right.
So
mystery woman.
Anybody knows?
But
let us know in the comments.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Somebody might know.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. Yeah, that's definitely one. Of course, I know all of those songs, but what a great archive and so well preserved.
That's man, it's really cherry. It's cherry condition. Proud of the subject.
All right.
Cool.
That's cool. Okay, well, on my list of things that one knows, I'm very happy about this acquisition. Of course, we are still kind of reeling from Jeff Beck's sudden passing, and I think we discussed in a previous episode that he left us so suddenly, and he was still so active that we were still waiting to hear what he came out with next. And I know that's what kind of crushed me, is it was just like, oh man. I always wanted to wait for the next Jeff Beck record. What is he going to do? How is he going to best himself?
Yeah, that's part of what made him the legend that he is that he never stopped reinventing himself.
Yeah, he was never still. He never sort of stuck on one motif very long. He was playing with some phenomenal young players and introducing them to a global market.
Right. That was part of his whole career, right? He was always putting new musicians into the fold.
Yes.
And after, like Frank Zappa, after you played with Jeff Beck, your career was set pretty much,
Right. This one is a reissue. It's 180 gram vinyl, and it's a lovely sort of gold, yellow, clear vinyl with the. It's a funny label because it looks like the second Epic label, right, with the orange with the circles, but it actually says Friday Music where it would normally say Epic Records. So something old and something new. And Jeff Beck, Blow by Blow, and Wired. This was the record that was produced by George Martin. So you've got another component, the George Martin component, who's absolute, music genius, recording and producing genius, and of course Max Middleton on keyboards, Phil Chen on bass, and Richard Bailey on drums. And this one just set the world on their ears. Scatterbrain.
I would say the musician world, not necessarily, right?
No, it's true. This is not a pop record. It's an instrumental, what would now be called progressive rock record, I guess. Freeway Jam, 'Cause We Ended as Lovers was a Stevie Wonder composition for Jeff. There's a tune called Thelonious, which is a tribute, of course, to Thelonious Monk. Anyway, great album. Jeff was just, playing around with some new motifs, and he just kept getting better and better after this. Anyway, this is a must-have.
There's a great documentary called Still Running, Jeff Beck Still Running. Highly recommended. I think it's brilliant film, and the story of Blow by Blow in that movie, and getting George Martin involved, and how they both affected each other's worlds is awesome. So anyway,
Yeah. So a little bit of must see video
yeah,
as
for
well
sure,
as must listen to audio.
for sure.
Now, in our podcast, we talk a lot about 180 gram vinyl. And I thought maybe tonight we would do a little tech corner and um, talk a little bit about vinyl record weights and what all the fuss is about. Um, uh, I would say that for most consumers, the vinyl record pressing process is pretty much a dark art. I mean, we know what the finished result is, but we don't know necessarily what all the components are. And I had the privilege of touring RTI time ago, and basically a vinyl record starts with little pellets, that are probably about a quarter-inch little oval pellets, and mostly they're black. But when you're doing a clear vinyl record like that, then they've got the pellets are that color, and they get vacuumed up out of this huge cardboard box into the pressing machines, and the pressing machines then measure a fixed amount of these pellets, in this case 180 grams worth of that, and it melts them together and turns it into what's called a puck. And it's about the size of a hockey puck, and when it's black vinyl, it looks like a hockey puck. These pucks then get put inside of the press, which has already been preloaded with the labels of side A and side B. And then in the press, there are the actual pressing metals. And so the puck comes in with its two labels, goes into the press, and the press then heats up, squishes the puck, and the vinyl spits out the sides and fills in all of the grooves. And it's going to stay like that for a fixed amount of time so that it sets and cures. And then what happens is the press has to be cooled before it opens up and trims the waste and then kicks it out. So they're using steam and chilled water. So they use steam to chill up these pressing molds, squishes the vinyl, and then they put chilled water through it, chills that same thing. So it goes through an extreme heating and cooling cycle for every single record. I would say the whole process takes, I don't know, maybe 15 seconds, 20 seconds.
Wow.
It's
What?
quite fast. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It doesn't take long at all. So I think each press can kick out, 4 records
Wow.
a minute. Yeah. And then of course there's an inspection and so on. But the importance is the 180 gram vinyl produces a more durable and what's regarded as audiophile. Typical records that you buy in the bin at Walmart or Urban Outfitters are between 100 gram and 120 grams. So they're lighter weight, they're a little bit more flimsy. They work, but the thicker vinyl just gives you a little bit of a deeper bass. In fact, we'll put in the notes an article that I found.
That explanation was spectacular.
Well, thank you, man.
I love that.
Thank you,
I never knew that that's what the weight was. I always thought it was had to do with the thickness. I mean, obviously it's relative, but I didn't realize that it was an exact weight of the plastic, of the vinyl.
Yep. That's it. So that it's a pre-measured weight of the grains of
Cool.
the pellets of vinyl, and yes,
Fantastic.
And the result is the thick vinyl. There are worse qualities of vinyl. Of course, we're not going to talk about it. This is an audiophile show. You can't go wrong with 180 gram. The people who are producing 180 gram vinyl are doing it for the audiophile primarily, and what that means is they're probably also changing the stampers more frequently. So a stamper in a real commercial operation might be allowed to do 1,000 records, 1,500 records, something like that. And here they're going to limit a stamper to 500. And so that means that the first one that comes out is just as good as the last one that comes out. There are more details that go into the plating and the creating of the stamper, but it's a higher quality process. So yes, you pay a little bit more for it. You get durability, higher sound quality, and it's really made with care. So I would direct the viewers and the listeners to this article. MakingVinyl.com is the website, and it's 180 gram vinyl. What are the benefits? And there's some deep learning to find there, and geek out a little bit about the tech. Okay, let's see. Also, there are new products coming out for the vinyl market all the time. I'm so excited about that. I mean, the number of new turntables and the number of phonograph accessories, new phono cartridges are coming out. So it's really an exciting time as we're experiencing this resurgence, this rebirth of the vinyl lifestyle. Product that caught my eye the other day is here. Brought to us from the fine folks at Harman and JBL. Wireless turntable, doesn't skimp on audio quality. Here's the review on Engadget.com. It's got a very, very contemporary look to it. And JBL Spinner BT. And so this helps bridge the gap to the folks that are living in a streaming world but want to take a walk down the vinyl path. So I haven't tried it out personally, but I'm intrigued. Knowing the quality of products that Harman and JBL put out in the past, I would say it's a pretty safe bet. And this magazine review tends to confirm that.
Cool.
All right, so we're back.
Wrap it up, and we'll save Bob Dylan for the next one.
No, we can do it. We're going to cut out a bunch of jibber jabber. So, Adam, you were going to share with me and
another
viewers.
Proud moment. I got to produce printing and the manufacturing of the new Bob Dylan Collector's Edition 2023 calendar. So super
Beautiful.
Proud of that. And you can buy it from the online at, I think BobDylan.com probably points to it, but the
Sure.
museum in Oklahoma, which is called, what's the official name of the museum? I'm sorry, right here. Bob Dylan Center, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And they have a website, and you can purchase the calendar there. And it's limited, and they're almost sold out already. So,
and
anyway.
all the images are just all of those iconic images of Bob Dylan.
Designed by the incomparable Jeff Gans. And, he's got at his fingertips the images that are the rawest and the knowledge of what's been published the most and what hasn't. So he's always really good at showing rare photos that are not familiar to everyone. Some of them in here are familiar, but they'll be like alternate shots from the same photo session, that kind of thing.
That's what I love. When these records were made, of course, they're big photo sessions, and they would pull out, a few of those photos. So, they probably had hundreds of photos, right, from a single session, of which they might select 3 or 4. Yeah. And now we get a chance to see the outtakes, effectively, all the stuff that's left on the ground. And can you imagine, having 100 kids, but you can only pick 4 to go with you,
Right.
And so this is really great. It's a privilege.
Some of the stories about how the main image gets on an album jacket and what gets left behind, and the discussions of who's driving the ship is good. The more you hang around the art directors, which I've had the good fortune in my whole life to hear some amazing stories. We hope to bring some to this podcast.
Indeed, in the very near future.
Yeah.
You'll hear of it here first. So, all right, let's. I wanted to share with you something we don't know,
Okay.
that you don't know. I didn't know of it until a couple of years ago. This is a very old record. This is the original issue, 1958. Ken Nordine, Son of Word Jazz. I found out about Ken Nordine through a very twisted route, but because I'm a big fan of jazz and I'm a big fan of this era, I had to get it, and I learned about Ken Nordine, who was, a writer, a commentator, a voiceover specialist, kind of a beatnik poet of sorts, and he was a voice to a lot of people back in the late 50s, early 60s. This has got the Dot Stereophonic High Fidelity sticker right on the cover, and it's also featuring the Fred Katz group. So this is kind of, it would have been rap music in the day, right? You've got this jazz music on, in the background, and you've got this guy
Where'd
who's
you pick up that copy?
I got this through Discogs, actually. I found out about Ken Nordine, wanted to get this record, and there was a pretty decent, the cover's in shape.
Yeah, it looks
and
beautiful.
the vinyl. I mean, when you consider that this is 62 years old, something like that. That's amazing. I mean, it's super good condition. It's a new inner jacket, but everything else is original. So anyway, this was special to me, and I think this is like a time capsule. You can go back into the past, and you can listen to something, and it's otherworldly. It transports you back to a lifestyle.
I'm gonna have to dig in and. I know that the name rings a bell, but I don't really know about it, so I'll check it out.
You will, yeah. Once you hear Ken Nordine, you'll go, oh, and he was a voice to a generation, our parents' generation, really.
Right. Cool.
All right, so you have something that I don't know, or
No.
I didn't know you made that calendar.
There you go.
Okay.
Are we?
While we're on that, we're running long, so.
Yep.
Without further ado, while we're in this sort of the jazz motif, I would encourage our listeners and viewers to check out the Greg Spiro acoustic record on the Soundscapes Media Group record label. This is a wonderful 3-piece jazz album. Soundscapes prints on 180-gram vinyl, and it's a beautiful package. It's an homage to the jazz of the late 50s and early 60s. And it's very well recorded, and it takes you on a spiritual journey with the musician and composer. So, yeah, check it out. Okay, well, there you go. This Vinyl Authority brought to you by Soundscapes Media Group, and we hope you like us. If you do, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube. I want to do some more of these. Adam, are you game?
Yeah, man. Thanks so much.
Good, love it.
Thanks.
I love the shares with you, man. Okay,
Cool.
Have a good one.
Good night.
Okay.